Hi, and welcome to Voice with Julia and day 7 of our 30 days of breath support. If you've been following along, which I highly suggest you do, you will have learned how to take an inhale. You'll have learned about the function of the diaphragm, the separation of the abdominals, the pelvic floor muscle, and the back rib cage. So be sure you catch up on days 1 to 6. And for all the classical singers in the audience, I invite you to please apply early for our Luca Bel Canto Institute, which is happening in Lucca, Italy this summer, September 9th through 16th. That information is below, and I highly suggest you apply early because we do have some scholarships available and it's first come, first serve. So without further ado, let's dive in.
Voice with Julia, change your voice, change your life.
So yesterday we were talking about the onsets of the back ribs kind of expanding out at the onset so that we're not going the opposite way and pushing in, right? And now, and I promise you, because we haven't really done much singing, I promise you that today we would phonate a little bit more. Okay, so it's not proper singing. We're not going to be opening our mouths yet, but we will be making sounds. And we're going to coordinate this with our breath. So if you remember, we did the onsets, the ya. So notice I'm pointing really low. It's probably, if I talk about it or point any lower, I'll get blocked from YouTube. So I'm just trying to explain how low that is, okay? So this is not here, all right? Again, not here, but you will see this move because it's just sympathetic. Our bodies are plastic and elastic and they move, right? So that's what happens because when you move the pelvic floor, the contents of the stomach moves up, right? And that helps allow the diaphragm to come up gently, right? And then it comes back to the resting position. So what we're doing is we're really trying to train in the elasticity and strength of the breathing mechanism. This is important to know. It's not just about strength. It is, but it's not just, right? We also have to train it to be elastic so it can't be held. So this exercise really helps allow that to be free flowing. So we're going to do any kind of lip buzz. I like tongue out, but if you want to go or feel free, okay? One of those will work. So the exercise goes like this. So we're going to practice those onsets with the back ribs out, and we'll go. My hand is pointing to the direction that those lower abdominals and pelvic floor should be moving, okay? So we want that to feel like it's, I like to say that the bladder, if you can like imagine your bladder, you're gently doing this with your bladder. So when it goes in, the bladder is lifting. Ba-da-da-da-da. Now the release is the most important part. So you're gonna come in, and then release, okay? Let's do that again. And I like to release expanding my mouth because that creates openness in the vocal tract, okay? So that it's a one gesture motion, okay? Let's try that again. Release, yes, exactly. So what you want to look for when you're doing this exercise is that you're not getting tight here. This is the most important thing. You are feeling movement. So I'm going to give you a couple tips. I suggest you use the sacrum to allow yourself to feel that movement. So the sacrum will tilt a little bit. When it goes out, it will release. So it's a little bit, it's a tiny motion. If you're seeing yourself go like this, it's too much. Okay, so this is a tiny feeling that undulation, all right, that it's not held tight. And if I can impress upon anything upon you this whole journey, it is that we can't get the breath system tight. And that is what we are working to do. We're working to attain this flexibility and strength of the breathing mechanism, okay? So let's try it one more time before we sign off and try something new tomorrow. exactly that release. It's almost like you're being caught by a buoyant cloud. Fantastic work. Okay, so practice this, and I say you can take this exercise up through your your second passaggio, pardon me. Between your first and your second passaggio. How about that? Your middle voice. You don't want to go too high yet. Don't go too low, okay? This is in that area that needs to be fully supported. So give this a try, and tomorrow we're going to be talking a little bit about mouth and nose breaths.